Check the description for the following discount codes. So I bought a pair of these Sparco Hyperdrive sim racing boots or shoes, whatever you want to call them, the other day. I've been using an old pair of plimsolls up until now, and they've started to disintegrate. So I thought, well, let's see if there's any actual sim racing footwear available, because we don't want actual sort of like real life racing boots, because they're going to be fireproof and they're going to be quite thick and I mean, some of you might use them, that's fair enough, nothing wrong with that, but I don't want that because there's no need for it when it's only simulated racing. They don't need to be fireproof, they don't need to have any abrasion resistance or any of the other protection mechanisms that might be included in them, and also they're expensive. These were about 60 quid, I think, something like that. Now they feel very plimsoll-like in the sole, to be honest. In the construction, they're very thin, so you can feel what's going on underfoot quite nicely. But there's a problem with them, and it's a bit of a weird one, this, because I haven't actually used these. So you might instantly go, what? How can you be reviewing something you haven't used, Cole? Well, the reason I haven't used them and that I'm still doing a review is because they're a funny shape. I physically can't use them because, and just to sort of quantify this, I don't have like a weird foot shape or anything like that. If I go into a shoe shop, grab a pair of shoes, trainers, boots in my size, 99.9% of the time they fit perfectly with no real issues. The odd brand's a little bigger or a little smaller, but there's not much in it. They're not. I don't have obscure foot shape. So I got these in my usual size, and I struggled for maybe 10 minutes to get my foot in this shoe. Now, that was with the laces undone. The laces, it's got laces, but it's still all elasticated here. So I undid the laces as much as I could. And trying to get my foot in here, it was almost impossible. I only managed to get one foot in once. And just because it's not wide enough, the opening isn't big enough, and I was scared that I was actually going to rip the shoe whilst trying to get my foot in. So that's how snug it was. But once I got my foot in, it was then too long. So you see where it changes from one material to another. My toes only came up to the very edge there, where it changes material. So not only were they too tight around the middle section here, they were too long at the end. And in addition to that, this heel piece here, it just didn't feel, it felt like my heel was almost sitting out of the shoe. I don't quite know how to describe it. It felt like it needed to sit further in, but it was obviously all the way down. So the heel didn't feel right. They were too tight around the middle and way too long here. So if I was to go up a size, which would allow me to get my foot in and out easier and it not be so tight around the middle, it would have been even longer. I'd have been flapping around like Pingu had I have gone up a size. So, and obviously if I went down a size, perhaps the length would be all right, but I would never have been able to get my foot in. And if I did, it would be strangling my foot, something terrible. So I think the best way, the reason I made the video is because lots of people might go and buy these and thinking they look cool and what have you, and they do, and you might have, the matching Sparco gloves to go with them, which I'll review in another video. But you need quite long, thin feet is the best way I can describe this. As I say, I have what I'll call normal shape and size, not normal size, normal shape feet. Let's go pick up my size 10s off the shelf, whack them on, and they'll fit for the most part. But these just don't. They're just very, very narrow and or very, very long for the sizing. So I can't really recommend them unless you have long, thin feet, at which point I can recommend them on, the look of them and the appearance and the feel. But to be honest, the build quality isn't great. If you look down here, you can see where the glue is all sort of overlapped and there's actually a little bit of a gap there as well. So, I don't know, longevity-wise, I just get a feeling they might peel peel off a little bit. I mean, this is a pure guess because obviously I can't try them out, but there shouldn't be gaps, you know, where they're glued, and you shouldn't really be able to have glue runs and overlay, you know, it's just not the best really. But yeah, there's my review. So take that information for what it is. You need long, thin feet. And if you have, then maybe give these a try. And if not, and you want to try them anyway, buy them from somewhere where you can return them easily, because obviously I'm going to have to send these back because even though they're the right size, I can barely get my foot in, and when I do, they're way too long. So yeah, there we go. There's the Sparco Hyperdrive gaming shoe or boot. I may as well put a link in the description, because if you're a long, thin-footed person, maybe you'll want some, or maybe you just want to try your luck anyway. So yeah, I will do, because there's nothing essentially bad about them. It's just going to be down to foot shape, really, isn't it? So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and as always, take it easy.